Hey everybody, before the episode starts, I just want to say, in the next episode, we're going to be watching Makio When the Promised Flower Blooms. Really great anime film. We forgot to mention it in the episode. But without further ado, let's get into this. Welcome everybody to the We Hate Anime podcast, the only anime podcast that has over 500 subscribers. That's probably true on YouTube. I'm your host, English Mike. Joining me as always is the illustrious The Mothman.
Oh.
I didn't say lustful Mothman, I said illustrious. I mean, you shine.
Just move some letters around, it's fine.
Please don't moan. Please don't moan. This is not an ASMR podcast where you're allowed to arouse our audience. You can do that on your own time, sir.
No, we're doing a POV now. I'm Fernando, and you're listening inside the sauna.
Wait. POV is point of view. What are you talking about?
It's a POV ASMR. You're locked in a sauna, and I'm moaning into the grates while you're, like, stuck in there.
Unfortunately, everybody, Frog King is not here today.
However, Mike.
You said you were gonna. Motherfucker! You said you were gonna explain why Frog isn't here.
It's rude to not introduce our last guest, Mike. Why don't you introduce our last guest before I say why Frog's not here?
Replacing the saddest boy in the universe is ItsumoListless on YouTube. And do you want us to call you Itsumo, or do you want us to call you by your name?
You can just call me Kev. Yeah, like, I kind of just think of Itsumo as the name of the channel.
Okay.
We got Kev joining us today, a really good anime boy, and y'all should check him out.
Yep.
Hey guys, I was trying super hard not to laugh at the whole ASMR bit right now. I was trying to give you guys the proper intro.
You can feel free. The first time we had our friend Nicole on, she told Moth to shut the fuck up before we even said her name.
Yikes.
She also had like a mental breakdown halfway through the episode because of me.
What episode was that?
To be fair, I do too.
Yeah. So the reason
that was our Red Line episode.
Oh, that was so good.
Awesome episode.
Yeah, the one where my computer died halfway through and we all thought it was going to be over.
Alright, I'm gonna go pick that one after.
Yeah, so as far as that goes, the reason Frog's not here, he used pretty much the same excuse I want to say I used like 6 weeks ago, where he was just like, man, I've been on this podcast for a year and a half now, I've never missed an episode, like, I think I'm just gonna be Frog. And you know what? That's fine. Like, we do this for free every other week, I do it every week, it's fine. Like, just go be Frog.
And if you wanna check him out on the Twitter, maybe send him a little bit of love, you can. His is the least contentious Twitter of the three of us.
What are you talking about?
I don't consider your Twitter existing. All you do is scream into the void.
I know, it's great. I just, like, what do you mean? Like, all I do is just post memes and, like, occasionally yell.
I don't think, like, writing a paragraph of non sequitur is a meme. That's not even a joke. It's just you, like, rambling to an audience of no one.
Wait, so you didn't find the Mulan meme funny?
I probably, if I saw it, I probably blanked that out of my mind.
That's fun. That's fair.
Can you explain the, what was that comment or that tweet that you posted? It was like, if I was in California and none of this, or when the fire started or something.
Oh, I was making fun of, who is it? Gosh, he did that 9/11 quote. His name just totally skipped my mind right now. If I was, like, there's a famous celebrity, why can't I remember his name? Who is famous for saying, if my kids were on that plane when 9/11 happened, it would not have gone down that way. There would have been blood in that cockpit.
Ah, that's hilarious. I love that.
If I had been there, things would have been different.
Yeah, that's why I said that California tweet, is because it's like, if I thought everybody could tell that.
I mean, I just wasn't familiar with that celebrity or with that reference in general.
Hey, if I had been in California at the time those fires would have started, I would have canceled gender before it could be revealed, thus canceling the entire event.
Oh, God.
Mark Wahlberg. It was Mark Wahlberg. There we go. I'm like trying to quietly type on my computer here because I can't remember his name. Like it's something famous. He was in No Pain No Gain, which, by the way, No Pain No Gain.
Why is No Pain No Gain the Mark Wahlberg movie that pops into your head?
Why isn't it the Mark Wahlberg movie that pops into my head?
Because I mean, I was literally about to make a Signs reference.
No pain, no gain. And you know what?
Not Signs, fuck Happening. The Happening. That's not a Signs is a Mark Wahlberg. Same director, though.
No, but like No Pain, No Gain. That is like the ultimate himbo movie.
Yeah, I know. I'm not surprised. You know it. I'm surprised that when you think of Marky Mark, the first movie that pops in your head is the fucking the weird robbery one that he did.
Yeah, but like he's in it. The Rock's in it. The guy from The Boys is in it.
Like I was literally about to go. Wait, are you saying that if you were there on 9/11, you would have prevented it from happening? What? No, but now I can't. I can reference. I was gonna make that joke.
Yeah,
that's a happening. That's a happening reference. If you don't catch it, and that's fine if you don't get it. A bad movie, but
No Pain No Gain is a great movie.
It's a movie that no one even knows exists.
Yeah, because nobody appreciates the classics. Like
how can it be a classic? It's from like 3 or 4 years ago.
No, it was more than that. I was still in Utah at the time.
It's from 2013.
It's not that old.
Yeah,
okay,
it's from
2013. That's a classic. The only reason it didn't win is because it got shut out by Braveheart at the Oscars.
My brain is shutting down.
Braveheart gets nominated every year for an Oscar because it's the single best film ever made.
So we talked about Moth doing his little travel-y tours. Why don't you regale us with more adventurous tales of your traveling?
All right. So for everybody who doesn't know, if you don't know at this point, or if you're just tuning in, I live in Alaska, and I work at a job where if there is a medical facility in the state, I sometimes have to go work on stuff there. I can't go into exact details, but I travel to all sorts of wonderful places. Honestly, Petersburg is my favorite, because Petersburg is just a bunch of Scandinavian people with a pizza parlor and a Mexican burrito shop, and that's the entire town. Just all the what are those things called where you put them on top of sewers? Like they're the things that go on top of sewer holes.
Manhole covers?
Yeah, manhole covers. All the manhole covers are depictions of Scandinavian gods, so you know that must have cost a small fortune. Like, so all the pothole covers are Scandinavian gods. And every year, oh, dude, we're so Russian, it's not even funny. Like, you know, Alaska used to be a Russian province, right?
Yeah.
In fact, if you drive to Homer, which is very, very southwest, it's about as far southwest as you can go if you follow one highway, and you just drive into the woods, you pretty much enter Russia. Nobody there speaks English. All the men look angry and soulless. All the women have their heads turned down and are wearing like dresses with the little hats on. And it's just, you're in the middle of the woods and you feel like you actually went into one of those weird, like Bible Belt, communal Children of the Corn towns, except it's Russian.
Whoa.
Like, so
yeah, I just don't think of Alaska as part of Scandinavia, but yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, so like they have a festival every year that sells out like months in advance, where they just have like a huge week where they just celebrate Scandinavian culture. And
wait, this is why you like Midsommar so much. You literally live it.
Yeah, actually, Midsommar is probably one of my favorite horror movies. I love it so much. And my wife and I,
I'm not surprised like, whenever you literally live that horror. Like, it's not even horror to you. You're just like, you watch that. Like, when you watch that, you literally came to us like, man, it's just a happy family adventure.
Yeah, it was so comfortable
you've seen
to me.
That family.
That is such a comfortable film for me to watch. It's like, man, it's just great. It's cozy. Everyone's happy at the end. It's great. But, yeah, so I have to go to, one of the places I have to go to is Dillingham. And it's not quite the most remote place. Like, I have gone out to Chicknick Bay, but it's pretty damn remote. And one of the things that happens there is, Alaska Airlines recently took over for the original flight route. And so this is a small town. The entire airport is maybe 700 square feet, not counting the loading area. Like, it's not a very big airport. And I discovered while I was there, I was kind of like looking around, Alaska Airlines took over the flight, which means if you fly in, you enter the main hub and you've already gone through TSA. So if I want to go from like Dillingham to Seattle, I don't have to go through TSA and come back anymore because through Alaska Airlines. But they haven't quite updated the security yet. So I was thinking to myself, and not that I would ever do this, like I need to clarify right now, this is purely hypothetical.
I could commit a crime.
I could commit so many crimes out of Dillingham. Like,
right now, you're literally like you've written your book of like if I had committed the crime, this is how I would have done it.
Like absolutely, I could smuggle so much stuff across the border, like from Dillingham to Anchorage to leave, and and Anchorage is an international airport. Like once I'm in Anchorage, I can get anywhere I need to be, and so like you could smuggle so much ivory and completely tax free, just like straight through this airport.
All the things to smuggle, why is is this like an Alaska thing? Do you have a lot of ivory up in Alaska?
Dude, we kill whales like almost as much as the Japanese, except it's not frowned upon because it's a cultural thing and we won the war.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm out here. By the way, I don't know, Mike, did I ever tell you about the energy drink index I do?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so wherever I go in the United States, I kind of try to figure out how much it costs to buy a can of Monster. Because Monster's pretty universal. I'm pretty sure you can get a can of Monster for like $1.99 where you live.
I can get it for about $1, actually.
You whore. If I get it on sale at Walmart, it's $1.78 for me. So,
I mean, Arkansas is a lot fatter than most other places.
Yeah, so for $1.78, I can get a Monster. Guess how much a Monster is in Dillingham?
$1.50.
I got it on sale, and it was $4.99.
No way.
Jesus Christ.
It's normally $6.50. Yep.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, I bought 2 energy drinks and wasted almost half my per diem.
Yeah, I don't really drink Monsters anymore, but I remember I would always just get I guess it would have like 2 for $5. So I don't even know exactly what that was. Yeah.
No, that's $2.50 each. Like that's here in Alaska, we get that. That's pretty common. Like sometimes we get lucky. Like if you want to do Rockstar, which God forgive you if you try to drink original Rockstar. If you want to get Rockstar, it's like 2 for $3.33 sometimes. That's the cheapest you can get it. But yeah, so I'm in I'm in Dillingham, and there's no cell phone service, and it was the first time I really had a good experience in Dillingham, because usually I show up in the winter when it's pitch black and everybody's miserable. But like winter hadn't happened yet. And to give you an idea how small this is, the population's about 2,000 people. And when your population gets that small, you start losing commodities. There's like 2 grocery stores in the entire town. And by the way, the town is about 100 square miles left to right. So 2,000 people across 100 square miles. It's pretty small. Mm-hmm. There's 2 like grocery stores. There's not a lot of eateries. There's really like 3 food trucks. There's not a lot of places to choose to eat from because it's a small area. Milk's $8 a gallon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
that's offensive.
Yeah, what's funny is what's it called? That the stuff, the store bought General Mills, is that the cereal? Like the crappy cereal that's just rip off Cocoa Puffs?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Like the General Mills, it's still $3, but the gallon is $8. So you have to make some decisions right there. And by the way, that milk expires within a week every time. So you gotta chug a gallon as fast as you can. One of the employees at the restaurant told me the only reason she works at that restaurant is because she just steals milk in a thermos every day.
Wow.
That's fucked up, dude. You live in like the first world equivalent of a third world country.
Yeah, it's that, and I mean it's got some of the nicest people I've ever met, but like it is just so apocalyptic. It's not even funny. There's no cell phone reception there. And the internet, if you want internet, you have to go to the hospital. And you have to like sit in the parking lot at the hospital. And you have to like go and be like, I have a stomach ache. Can I have the Wi-Fi password? And then they never change the Wi-Fi password. They haven't changed it in 6 years. And you just sit right outside the ER entrance on your phone to like check up on people because, GCI up here in Alaska is legally required to provide high-speed internet to any emergency service.
At least there's that.
Mm-hmm. So this is the story, or a story such as this is the reason why I had to ask Mike if you were playing up a character when listening, because your stories are so unbelievable. A lot of the times, I'm left wondering, but God damn, dude, you have such an interesting life.
Yeah, no, if I it's part of an issue with myself. Like, I actively seek out the worst possible things that can happen to me because they always make good stories.
I can see that.
Like, did I ever tell the story of when I did, like, the dishes at a drug dealer's house?
No, I haven't heard it.
I just heard Mike's, like, heavy sigh in the background.
Mike, have you heard that story?
I grew up in meth houses, and yet that is still weird to me, what you just said.
Well, like, okay, alright, slight tangent. It'll take 2 minutes. My buddy, when I lived in Idaho, because Boise, Idaho is a huge meth central. I don't care what anybody says. I'm in Boise, Idaho with my buddy, and he goes to his drug dealer's house, and I'm like a good Mormon boy preparing for my mission, and I got an open mind, but I'm not gonna do drugs. So he takes me over to his drug dealer's house, and he's like, hey man, he's not a narc, but he's not gonna do any weed. And the guy's like, cool, well, we'll keep him out of this room so that he doesn't see us smoking weed. So he's got, like, whatever. I don't know. They're just being stupid like stoners are. And so I'm in this house, and I'm in the living room and the kitchen, because one of those small houses. And his kid's, like, sitting there just eating pounds of fruit roll-ups. Like, he's got this little, like, 4-year-old sitting on the floor in a diaper, just, like, eating fruit roll-ups, like, without even taking the wrappers off. He's just eating the paper and the fruit roll-ups. And I, like, look over, and the sink is just piled with dishes. And he's got, like, a sponge, and he's got a sponge, and he's got some dish soap, and then, like, the garbage is overflowing with Chinese takeout. So, like, I've never been a cleanly person, but, like, that broke me a little. And so I think I spent the next 45 minutes just doing this dude's dishes. And they come out after, like, they smoked weed for 45 minutes, and they look at me and, like, I'm just finishing up the last of their dishes, because that's how many there were. And the dealer, like, looks at my boy, he's like, yeah, he's alright, and goes back into his room.
Yeah, your buddy over here, he's a good guy. I like him.
He doesn't even say thanks. He just said, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's alright. Just, like, leaves. So, so back to Dillingham. So you're in the middle of nowhere, and while I was there, one of my, like, rituals is I can't stay at a hotel that doesn't have Cartoon Network. And so, like, I've paid up to $100 extra a night, and it doesn't matter because my parent company reimburses me. But I've paid, like, an extra $100 a night to stay in a hotel as long as I got Cartoon Network. And I was watching Cartoon Network, and I made you guys watch this commercial. It's only 15 seconds long, but I watched what I believe to be the single most dystopic commercial of my life. And I mean, Mike, do you want to tell it from your perspective?
Okay, so there was once a man known only as Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Alright, this Chuck E. Cheese.
This man, this absolute creature, went out of business, like a year ago or 2 years ago.
But he's back.
But he's back, baby. He's back. And how does he come back? He comes back by flipping on a switch and showing all the children piling into a death museum as they wear COVID masks and happily play around to, like, bright, happy music as if they aren't catching a disease that's going to kill them.
Yeah, it's Kev. You saw this commercial, right? I made you watch it.
No, yeah, I watched it. I was with my girlfriend, and I was like, "Here, you have to watch this with me."
And you guys see, like, how horrifying this commercial looks, right? Like, Chuck E. Cheese is already a messed up place without this commercial, and I'm watching this commercial, I'm just like, what is wrong here? And it's Mike, can you link it in the episode description just so people can see how horrifying this commercial is?
Oh yeah, totally.
The switch that he flicks isn't it, like, labeled fun or something?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so what happens is they're like, we're flipping the lights back on at Chuck E. Cheese.
If you just watch it like I actually did
without sound,
just mute it, and if you want sound, just put on, like, music, that World War II, like, era documentary music in the background,
or, like,
maybe fuck with your display settings so it's in black and white, and you'll get the message.
Yeah, just have It's a Small World After All playing it, like,
oh god, that would be
20%, and it's just. Because it shows like these kids with these deadpan look on their faces, like they can't move too much because that might get COVID. And it shows them like playing at the machines they used to like rapidly slap and drool over, and they're just like lightly tapping the screen, and then they throw their hands up, and then they're not even shifting on the wave bikes anymore for like the wave bike. They're just sitting there staring at the screen with these COVID masks on. And my absolute favorite part happens in the last 3 seconds. It shows the prize counter. And the woman at the prize counter looks like a damn mannequin in a mask, just staring into the void, while a father, like, reaches out and headbutts his kid with a hug. And it is just it is the scariest commercial I think I've ever seen in my life, because it's 100% genuine.
Yeah.
It's so fucking dire.
My brother, up until, I want to say last year, he was actually working at Chuck E. Cheese, and he absolutely hated it for this. I mean, the same reason that anybody who works around children hates their job. And so like you sending me this commercial, and it was just like, oh fuck, if he was still there, like, God, it was crazy. It was like kind of glad I did see that.
You know, it's crazy. I actually would love to not work at like Chuck E. Cheese per se, but I would love to work for a contracting company that just fixes electronics at like fun houses. So like I would fix the rat suit. I'd fix the animatronics. I'd fix the arcade cabinets. Like I would love that job. I always tell my wife, like, if I didn't work where I work right now and I need another job, like I absolutely would love to be a theme park mechanic.
This man just said he wants to have. He literally wants to be in fucking Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria.
Absolutely. Like, if nobody's looking at chicas in the back room needing repairs, you know what's happening.
Yeah. He's gonna be clapping some chicas. Hey!
Yeah! Like, let me see that Springtrap jaw of yours.
Oh, what that Springtrap do?
Let me see the clap back from that Springtrap.
Yeah, when he was working there, we would my cousin and I, we would go visit him, and he would just hook us up with a bunch of tokens, and just and like I was actually trying to play a game with him, and then like this little kid just comes up and he was like, "Hey, this toy is over here broken." And he was like, "Oh, I'll be right back." And then he comes back and he's like, "Were you able to fix it?" He's like, "No." But then like they just kept coming, like, "Hey, it's still broken."
Just put a sign on it. Like, kids will notice a sign in front of the screen. Jeez, even if they can't read it, like that's universal.
No, I think there was a sign there, and it was just like they're still asking about it, like they just didn't give a shit.
Moth, you haven't worked enough in customer service.
I have,
if you think customers read signs,
well, no, I've literally gotten fired from help desk jobs. Like
I've been with my unfortunate job for like 7 years now. And the sheer number of times someone will just walk up to me and be like, "Hey, can I do X, Y, or Z?" And meanwhile, I'm standing next to the sign that says no.
No. Yeah. Quick question for you though, Kev. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you have a brother who worked at Chuck E. Cheese. I need to ask you something that I've wondered for like the last 2 years since it was brought to my attention.
Sure, go for it.
Does Chuck E. Cheese recycle pizza slices?
No, that's one of the first things that I asked him when I found out about it. He was like, "No,
it's just nobody knows how to cut the damn pizza."
Yeah, that was
every single time. Here's the deal. Last time I went, it was shortly before they closed down. It was for my nephew's birthday party.
Dude, I'm going for my birthday party this year.
I swear on my fucking life that they served us a pizza and like 3 of the slices were cold. But then again, like, the pizza's, like, it's not even pizza. It's a cracker with tomato paste on it.
I don't even know how to describe, Chuck E. Cheese pizza. I don't like, even by the qualification of, like, your local, Chinese family that opened a place called Godfather's Pizza isn't pizza. Like, Chuck E. Cheese is on a next level for pizza. Like, I don't understand Chuck E. Cheese pizza. It's an anomaly. It's an SCP at this point. And the fact that millions of people have eaten Chuck E. Cheese. Like, here's a question, Mike. What does Chuck E. Cheese pizza taste like? I ate it 2 years ago. I can't tell you. I can still tell you what Round Table pizza tastes like, and I haven't had Round Table in close to like 10 years.
It's really fucked up that like school pizza has way more of a flavor than Chuck E. Cheese pizza does.
For the life of me, I have no idea. Here, Kev, you've probably eaten there recently. What does Chuck E. Cheese pizza taste like?
Hey, Kev, you go to Chuck E. Cheese all the time, right?
Yeah, your brother works there, right? What do you have to say? No, I couldn't tell you, man.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what Chuck E. Cheese pizza tastes like.
Like and I haven't. It's not even been that long. It's been a year, I think, since I had it, and like I'm just. The only thing I can remember is that it tastes. I had not eaten that day. I was hungry. I'm a fat guy. I took a bite and I was like, okay, I'm not that hungry.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like pizza to me, and yet like I can't remember what it tastes like to save my life.
Oh wait, you know what? It tastes like dead ass. It tastes like off-brand pizza rolls, but worse.
Okay, so like it tastes like a lava pocket, but not a good lava pocket.
I mean,
I wouldn't even go that far.
I mean, I guess if you were just to, compare it to something realistic, it would probably just be like one of those off-brand, like Stater Brothers, or like the grocery store fucking frozen pizzas that you reheat in the oven, or the ones that you heat up in the oven.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even say that, man. I eat those all the time. I'm a little fat boy. I'm a little fat boy with like the propeller head thing, and I just fucking like my food. Meanwhile, Chuck E. Cheese serves things that it like. In World War II, if you had served Chuck E. Cheese pizza to people in internment camps, it would be considered a war crime.
God damn.
Yeah, because nothing else that happened in those internment camps was a war crime. Nothing else.
That's the worst thing that happened there.
Yeah, they served him Chuck E. Cheese pizza, and it wasn't even kosher. Now, I do have a question. One more tangent. Like, do arcades just feel more soulless to you guys now than they did 20 years ago?
Yes.
So, like...
we've like never had an arcade anywhere near me.
So in Anchorage, we used to have an arcade, and anybody who actually lives in Anchorage, like I'm actually going to start naming out streets and whatnot. On Northern Lights, where the REI used to be, and this is only for people who live in Alaska, so I'm being very specific.
No, man, I remember that on Balto.
Yeah, right? I can't remember what the bookstore is called, but it's called like New Wave Books, or like Bookstorm Bookstore. It's something to do with like water. There used to be an arcade, and I remember calling it the Violent Arcade when I was a kid. And it was a laser tag arcade double, and my parents hated taking me there for my birthday, but I wanted to go every year on my birthday.
Wait, man, wait, hold on. Can you take another detour to explain the Violent?
Yeah, no, I will.
I was about to say, every time he just went there as a kid, like, there were literally just people being beaten to death.
No, Mike, I want to hear it from Moth.
No, but like, for 2 years, this is where I wanted to go, and I think it shut down like a year later. But it was called the Violent Arcade. That's what I called it. Parents hated taking kids there, but it was the only arcade that had like reliable laser tag. And it was one of those laser tags that actually had animatronics that would pop out of the wall and like completely waste your lives. Like it had like ones with machine guns that if you turn the corner at the wrong time, it would just empty your health bar. So it was a pretty cool arcade. But the reason I called it the Violent Arcade, they didn't have ticket machines. They just had arcade cabinets. I don't know if you guys remember, but like mid to late 90s arcade cabinets were the most violent things on the planet. Like that whole like parents against pornographic video games thing that was going on, that was entirely because of these arcades.
What were they called?
What do you mean? The arcade
cabinets?
place? No, they were arcade cabinets, but they were always like the most violent ones, like Streets of Rage.
Okay.
There were ones like there was ones that was like elevator action, but you could break people's necks and stuff. Like
Based.
I remember finding Carnival there for the first time, and I love Carnival. That's like my third favorite shoot 'em up game. My third favorite light gun game. But no, like this was like a fun arcade, and I loved it. And now I go to like Dave & Buster's and whatnot, and I'm good at light gun games. Like I'm above your average Sam at light gun games because all I had on my PS2 was light gun games. And I can't win a single damn light gun game at Dave & Buster's. Those things cheat so bad. I hate Dave & Buster's.
I haven't played a light gun game in a very long time. I don't have much of a frame of reference.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, but I wanted to go on a tangent and be like, do arcades just feel soulless to you guys now? Like, they feel soulless to me.
I could see why you would say that. I mean, the only arcade that I go to is it's called Round One over here. I don't know, they're everywhere, but it's nice.
Let's see,
it
it's
has
called
a good
Round
variety.
One?
Yeah, Round One.
Arcade? Okay.
Fight.
Yeah.
I want to see like how many places there are here that have this, because obviously we don't have it in Alaska.
Yeah.
We have Dave & Buster's.
That's it. Yeah. It's kind of like Dave and Buster's. I went to Dave and Buster's after going to round 1, and I felt like Dave and Buster's was significantly worse. But
This is the most random store placement I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, the round 1 that we go to, it's weird. It's like in a mall.
Burbank?
No, it's
Northridge?
It's Southern California. It's in a city called Moreno Valley. It's like on the top floor, and like you go in through like the back of the mall generally, and I mean it's like the rest of the mall is closed after a certain time, but that one place like stays open till like 2 a.m. and it's pretty cool.
Oh man, they got Mario Kart.
Yeah, they do. They have a good variety, but no, you know what? I actually don't really have anything bad to say about round 1.
Dude, karaoke's cheap. Like, are you seeing the prices here for karaoke? Like, 4 to 6 people for $14 an hour? That ain't bad at all.
I've always wanted to take my girlfriend to try it, and she's never been down. And we tried to do it one year for Valentine's Day, and like the wait line was like an hour and a half, so we just didn't end up doing it.
You don't want a Dame Damo? Dame Dano? I don't know.
It's Dame Dane.
Is it Dame Dane?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have they even have some some arcade machines that are imported from Japan, like they're in Japanese, and I think I actually got to play I think Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm, which was
okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I like that game that got ported to Switch, but like only the Japanese market was the one that got the bongo drums to go with it.
Yeah,
that one. They had it there, and that one was also only in Japanese also. But
okay.
It's fine. But I could see why you would say that about Dave and Buster's. It also just feels like Dave and Buster's just has like significantly less compared to this place.
Well, and it's all based around the idea of I don't know. In Utah, because they're cheap as hell, they have these things called nickel arcades. Mm-hmm. And actually, I think they have some of those on the East Coast, because when I went to North Carolina, there were a couple. They're just nickel arcades, and the entire purpose of them... Actually, no, I was in Oregon when I found them. And the entire purpose is you just go in, and nothing costs more than like 3 nickels, and you just drop $20, and they give you $20 worth of nickels, and you just play games.
Yeah,
and they don't have to be...
When you said Soulless Arcade, like, I kind of... That's kind of the idea that I was having in my head, that it was like, oh, this is like super commercialized, and because of nickel arcades.
Nickel arcades are great, actually. They don't feel like they feel like a mom and pop shop where like you could tell the guy who owns the place truly loves arcades and refuses to leave that era of his life. And like I love those places.
Did you ever watch High Score Girl?
Yeah, actually, I watched the first season, loved it, and then weirdly enough, that love triangle kind of ruined it for me.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't love the love triangle in the second season. I liked the main girl, and honestly, I didn't dislike the other girl. I liked them both. It's actually very difficult for me to say which one is better.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell you which girl is probably better for the main character, but if you were just to ask me objectively who the best girl is, I couldn't tell you.
I got you. I haven't sat down to watch season 2 at all.
Oh, but, they really drive the love triangle forward, and my problem is...
Well, I watched the end of season 1, and I was like, oh well, it left off on a cliffhanger, so I just went and looked up the manga chapters that continue from there.
Yeah.
And when I seen that the the cliffhanger kind of just ends like flat on his face, I was like, it just kind of took all
the manga doesn't end either.
I don't know. I only read up to the to see what happens, like the follow up to that cliffhanger, and then and like I think it was actually covered in the OVA, right?
No, they did a second season, and it's pretty good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't checked it out.
Yeah, but in the second season, it's really difficult for me because like both those girls have to absolutely be morosexuals for either of them to give that much of a shit about this useless guy.
Hold up, you just used the term. Define whatever that term is.
Morosexual? It's when you're strictly attracted to idiots. It's the only reason my wife still loves me.
I was about to say, like, the only reason you know that term is because you.
Yeah, it's because, like, I don't even remember what I did recently, but, like, it just reminded my wife that she loves me. Oh, we were playing Among Us, and she's like, how are you so bad, and yet you keep winning these games? And I'm like, I just like doing the tasks. She's like, you go off alone and nobody kills you and you're the reason we always win if you're not the bad guy. Like, why? And I'm like, I like pressing the buttons.
I have a feeling when you're the imposter in Among Us, you don't even bother faking any tasks.
I just kind of stand in the cockpit sometimes. What's funny is, like, the only thing I'm smart enough to know in Among Us is, like, to kill my wife first, because she knows when I'm lying. So, like, I have to sprint as fast as I can, get her alone, and just murk her as quickly as I can, because otherwise it's over for me.
The problem with that, though, is that as soon as you do it too many times, as soon as your wife is the first one dead, everyone's like, "Aw."
I played 15 games and I was only the imposter once, so, like, I'm fine.
Oh, fuck. Among Us is so fucking fun.
It is. It's a good version of Mafia. Yeah, we got way distracted. Holy crap. I'm sorry, guys.
Hey,
Kev.
that's all good.
Kev, you wanted to talk about living in Blade Runner 2049. Go ahead.
Oh, God.
What's it like knowing that the world is ending around you?
It's just a trip, just because, like it's, you know, you generally, like, see the memes and you know, like, just when you see memes in general, it's just kind of like, it's a sign that we're living in, what is it, just, like, was it postmodern era, or I don't know what you call it, but
it's a fucked up time is what it is.
yeah, usually, like, the memes are just a way for people to kind of cope with the situations that we're in. And so to hear that, you know, or to see on the internet actual memes about this whole gender reveal thing, with, you know, something that's actually happening in my in my general vicinity is kind of it's kind of like a mindfuck.
To not date this episode too badly, we're referring to the current. Well, California is always kind of on fire, but recently. Yeah. A couple started a big fire as part of their gender reveal for their baby, and it's literally burning California to the ground and, like, making the entire... Is that the West Coast or the East? This the West Coast, isn't it?
This is West Coast, and it's in Southern California. Because there are other fires going on in California, but this is, like, the big one that everyone's talking about because of the connection to the gender reveal party.
And, like, the smoke's so bad, like, it's going all the way up to Washington and into parts of Canada.
Yeah, it's crazy, because I don't even know where the fire is, per se.
There's just so much of it.
Yeah, but, like, where I live, it's, like, not technically near it, but, like, the ashes are falling over here as well.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then the other day, I drive to work, and I'm, as soon as I get off the car, like, you can already, like, you just smell, like, the, you know, like, the scent of ash, or, you know, or the you know, just, like, you know, burnt shit. And even inside the building, I'm in there, getting ready for the day, and then I could just smell it, and it's, like, it's fucking awful.
You know, it's funny. I was in California once in my entire life. Actually, twice, but the other time was a fever dream. I was in there in 2007. My father had a business trip, and he brought the whole family along for like a week, and it was pretty nice. But I was really into skateboarding at the time. It's like the one time in my life I was actually interested in anything athletic until I picked up bodybuilding last year. Mm-hmm. And, you know, everything Swayze has ever said
Patrick Swayze?
No, Swayze.
The artist, right?
Yeah, the musician. The phenomenal musician.
Yeah.
Everything Swayze or Redfoo has said about California, like, seemed to come true while I was in California. Because I was dumb, and I was skateboarding on an 8.25 skateboard, and if you're dumb enough to skate on an 8-inch skateboard, you deserve to get beat. But I'm, like, skating on an 8.2 skateboard. And, like, everybody there is skating at the time. And this is 2007, so it's probably more believable. Mm-hmm. Everyone's skateboarding. I can't go into an underpass without seeing a skate park. Like, it was honestly a lot of fun for that week. And then I wanted nothing more to do with it. So I don't even understand why anybody, like, stays there because I'm like, man, this is kind of a cool place to visit. Oh, no. I did go like 4 years ago, for my anniversary with my wife. We went right before Star Wars Episode 7 came out. Have I ever told that story, Mike?
Dude, you have so many stories, it's really hard to catalog them all in my brain.
Okay. Maybe, in case I have told the story, just real fast. Kevin, happiest place on Earth, Disneyland, right?
No.
Okay, yeah, not at all. But
I have my own Disneyland story if I could share it with you guys in a bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, please do. But I will tell you right now, nobody makes bacon like Disneyland. I don't even know why, but Disneyland has the best bacon on the planet. And I think I realized because there's like no real pig mascots in Disneyland. That's why they make great bacon.
Oh, okay.
That's what?
Like if all of a sudden Goofy disappeared and they started releasing really good corn dogs and hot dogs, like I'd totally understand.
Dude, hot dogs are not made out of dogs, Moff.
Then why did they come out of China?
Hey, Kev, why don't you tell us about your Disneyland? Disneyland.
I went to Disneyland at what I'm convinced is the single most perfect time to have ever gone to Disneyland. And it was a week before Star Wars Episode 7 came out.
Why?
Because nobody knew it was going to be bad. Nobody knew that it was cursed. There was just merchandise. The Space Mountain was Hyperspace Mountain. Like, you gotta ride all these really cool Star Wars rides, and you had no idea that it was gonna suck from that point onward.
Yeah.
And
okay,
so
I get it. Mm-hmm.
I gotta relive my pod racing childhood and all the fun I had with Star Wars before being horribly disappointed. And it was perfect. It was, that week right before the movie came out, Disneyland was peak. It was, I cannot emphasize how good Disneyland was for that 1 week. I got to buy a lightsaber. There was actually a museum where I got to see all the cool Star Wars props they stole from George Lucas's house. And it was right before the Avengers IP was getting super saturated. So you went to Tomorrow World and it was Stark Industries. And you're like, oh man, this is so cool. It's not overrated yet. This is so much fun. I love this.
I'm poor, so I've only ever been to a Six Flags, and I didn't even pay for that. It was given to me as part of a thing for school.
Okay, that's fair.
I actually would much rather go to Six Flags any other day.
Honestly, yeah, at this point I'd rather go to Six Flags.
No, I just it's one of those things about living in California, especially in Southern California, is you're driving on the road randomly, and the car in front of you just happens to have the annual parking sticker on their bumper. You just see those everywhere. I don't know if it's like that anywhere else, but I mean, just imagine, just because it's California and we have Disneyland here, but it's kind of like that. And everyone around me seems to have this whole fascination with Disneyland, and it being the the happiest place on earth. So it's so
and you know what? If you only go there once ever, you'll actually believe it's the happiest place on earth.
Okay, so I don't go often. I went last year, and it was the first time that I had gone since I was probably in middle school. But it's just though this whole hype of it being the happiest place on earth. Everybody pays for those annual passes that are unbelievably expensive. Have you guys ever looked up those prices?
Isn't it $1,000 for a year pass per person?
Something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's nuts. And if you want a pass with a fast pass built into it permanently, that's triple the price.
Yeah. Just to go that one day last year, and it was only for one part. I think I ended up spending like $200 and maybe $50, just for my girlfriend and I. So that's why people with families and people they'll do the whole the grand annual pass. But yeah, so I hadn't gone since I was in middle school, and my girlfriend really wanted to go. She wanted to do something different, and we were well, we've been together for so many years, and we had never done Disneyland, and we live here. So yeah, I took the day, and we did it in May, thinking that that it was a random weekday in May. It wouldn't be so bad, and and we were there for like all day, and we only managed to get on 3 rides.
Wait, seriously?
I'm not even kidding.
Dude, I got on like 7 or 8. Wait, when did you go?
In May.
Okay, yeah, that's why. I went in December. So, like, I gotta probably go on 9 or 10 rides my first day, and then, like, 9 my second.
Yeah, so I think the park, opens at, like, 10?
Dude, I was there at 9 a.m., like, banging on the gates angrily, like, let me in.
Yeah, so we...
okay, go ahead, sorry.
Okay. No, so we, like, made the plan to get there early, and like right from like getting off the freeway, I was, I guess, already in line to get into the park, I guess. And so like the whole idea of getting there early was already out the window. This was like I want to say like maybe 9 o'clock ish.
Yeah.
I guess you had to show up even earlier, but I mean, fuck, it was my first time as an adult and the first time since I was in middle school that I had gone. I wouldn't have known that.
No, here's the secret. This is what you do. You tell people that you have an early access pass, and you just keep telling them that because there's like people who get to go into the park 30 minutes before it opens. Oh. And you keep telling that so you can keep cutting ahead of them in line. And then you get ahead of the line and you don't actually have the pass, but nobody's like going to be brave enough to tell you to piss off at that point. So now you're in the front of the line.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I have to. I don't mean it. The real tech is to bring a wheelchair. That's the real tech.
Like, you don't even have to have anybody in the wheelchair. Just bring the wheelchair. Like, bring one wheelchair for everybody in line, and if anybody challenges on you, be like, this is for you for when I blow your back out tonight.
Yikes. And you're the bodybuilder, right? So who's gonna challenge you?
Dude, are you kidding me? I don't like until I take off my shirt, I don't look it. I have the most hidden physique on the planet. It's great.
Nice.
It's like that guy who, you make fun of him until he stands up and you're like, "Oh no."
the guy that gets stabbed and then like the knife bends like outward.
Yeah. Exactly. No, that's what I go.
Superman.
Oh man, Mike, you didn't see the picture I posted. I finally have a bicep for the first time in my life. I actually found it the other day. I was like, holy crap. But yeah, you went on 3 rides. You were already like 9 a.m. You were early and you were still in line.
Long story short, we didn't get into the park until 11. And when I was in middle school, Space Mountain was the one that took like 5 hours to get into at that time. So we're like, we're gonna go straight there before we go on any other ride. And we never even got on that one. Like the line had already, like the ride.
You're not like using the fast pass?
We didn't have the fast pass.
You don't need the fast pass. What you do is you like go up to where the line is and you say like, hey, I want to go to this ride. And they print you out a ticket. And they say, okay, be here in 3 hours. And then you come back 3 hours later and it gets you within like 20 minutes of riding.
I know about that thing, but I didn't see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know.
cool.
Yeah, but so we didn't even get on the one that I wanted to get on. And the other the 3 rides that we got on was the car one. The one that's like sponsored by Honda.
I have no idea. It's a small world?
No, it's not. It's a small world. It's like legitimately like you're in a car that's like it's like looks like Honda. Like
no, I have no idea. Like I was there 4 years ago and I don't remember a Honda ride.
It's the one where you're in a Honda Accord and the entire ride is nothing but you destroying every Kia Soul you see with a laser.
Fun fact: I rent a bunch of rental cars for my work. Like whenever I have to go to the lower 48. There is nothing more fun than those square body cars.
Wait a second. You called the rest of America the lower 48?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That implies we are lesser than Canada, a state in which you get paid to live in.
Yeah, and we have a UBI. The government gives you $1,000 a year to survive. Yeah, anyway. No, but like, I've driven a Scion XB, and I'll be honest with you, like, nothing is more fun than like the Cubes or the XBs, like those box-ass cars.
Okay, yes, but Cubes have really bad gas mileage, so don't get a Cube, everybody.
Wait, what?
Cubes have awful gas mileage.
How? They're literally boxes. Like, they have a 1.8 liter engine in them.
Moth, do I have to explain to you, like, weight distribution and, like, aerodynamics? Like, yes, it's... They have terrible gas mileage because they weigh, like, way more than they should for the engine that they have.
Okay, that's fair. So, what were the other 2 rides? You said the Honda ride?
The Honda ride, the Nemo ride, and then the Indiana Jones ride.
See, honestly, I only recognize one of the 3 rides you mentioned.
Which one?
And that would be the Indiana Jones ride.
Okay. And it was arguably the best one that we got on.
Oh, like, the thing about those rides, though, like, even when you're standing in line, you're having fun, because, like, people are yelling at you, like, not people, but, like...
When do we get to the
ride?
Right. This is the ride!
Oh, no, that really is it. No, it's, yeah. If you had to take a choice between Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm, would you say Knott's Berry Farm?
Yeah, I would go to Knott's.
What the fuck's Knott's Berry's Farm?
It's this weird theme park that you don't know about until you go to Disneyland. Everyone's like, you should have gone to Knott's Berry Farm.
People at Disneyland are like, you sure you don't want to go to Knott's Berry Farm? Okay, here.
Hey, Mike, you know the Peanuts?
Like
Charlie
the treat
Brown?
or the comic?
The comic.
Charlie Brown.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they have a theme park called Knott's Berry Farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I of all the characters to give a theme park, Peanuts is not the one I'd go to.
Dude,
Yeah,
it's really... Well, you gotta realize it was made, like, what, 1960s? Back when the Peanuts was, like, as big an IP as Garfield was in the 90s?
Yeah, hold on, I'm gonna look it up right now. But yeah, Knott's Berry Farm, it's also, like, has, like, this whole Western vibe to it, too. Like the Peanut section is really just the section for the kids. And
Dude, the petting zoo at Disneyland is the most depressing thing on the planet.
That sounds awful.
There's, like, one goat that runs around Western Town, and it's got, like, that is the petting zoo. Sorry, continue, Kevin.
No, that was pretty much it. Like, it's just, it has, like, this whole Western vibe on one side, and then on the Peanut side is Camp Snoopy or whatever. And then, like, it has, like, a 50s theme type of thing, like, towards the back end. And, like, the best ride there is, it's called, like, Accelerator. And then, and like that, it's like, it's a really cool ride. It's just, like, it's just, like, one long line of just, like, the coaster, and it, like, has, like, a countdown, like, bing, 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 and then you, like, just fly off into like a loop. It's pretty cool. If
you actually, because you live in California, if you want an actual good theme park that's not, it's not, like, quite underrated because everyone in Utah knows about it, but it's, like, a fun place to be, go to Lagoon in Utah. You won't wait more than, like, I'm not going to say any of the rides are as good as Disneyland, because Disneyland is an experience. Mm-hmm. But, like, takes at most 20 minutes for any ride except for the Cannibal. I think that's what it's called. It takes, like, 20 minutes for any ride that isn't the Cannibal. And it's fun. Like, if you want to go to a theme park and you actually want to enjoy the rides, go to Lagoon in Utah. And if you go, like, right before the fall, like in October or September when Utah's still warm, you can actually ride, like, the water rides, like the rides that are, like, water sports rides. And you could do that for, like, ever. Like, they won't even make you get off the ride because nobody's using them at that time. So you're just like, woo!
I like Six Flags because it's a combo amusement park and water park, and I'm too fat for rides, so I just... It's actually really fucked up. The only Six Flags, whenever I was little, the only Six Flags that rides I could get on was the fucking Texas Six Flags.
That makes total sense to me.
So every single time I went to Six Flags, I'm like, okay, and then I put on trunks and I go to the lazy river, and that's where I'm at all day.
Mike, I will buy you a Planet Fitness subscription for your birthday.
I don't have time.
Please, Mike.
Hey, Moth, it opened up in 1920.
Knott's Berry Farm?
Yeah.
Jesus, you could probably still lick
that's 100 years old.
Oh shit, it is.
Yeah, it just turned 100 today. Like tomorrow. It turned 100.
It's fucking wild.
Man, I love how we actually had things that we were supposed to talk about and we just went on amusement parks for 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
That is true. Before we get into that, Moth, do you want to regale us about you diving into HoloLive?
Alright, so I got a song that I really, really like, and it's called Fukireta. And it's cause I got a friend who really, really loves Hatsune Miku. And so out of spite for her, I decided that I really like Teto, which is the other, it's a Utaloid, not a Vocaloid. And, her whole thing is she's like, I'm just as good as Miku, but I don't cost you $100 every year. And so I like Teto more. I like her design more. I like her as a character more. Like, I like Teto. So I always listen to like Fukireta from time to time. And apparently the what are they called? The Hololive idols did a huge version of that. And I was kind of listening to it, and I wasn't thinking much of it. I'm like, do, and I'm just enjoying myself while I'm working on my model painting. And all of a sudden I hear one of them sing really, really well, like way better than all the others. Cause they pretty much gave everybody like, 2 lines to sing. And I stop it and I go back and I listen to it again. And it's so weird. Like, Mike, on your computer right now, type in Hololive space and then TOWA, TOWA. Like,
Hololive.
Yeah, like you can do this too, Kevin.
It's did you say it's a space between Hollow and Live?
No, Hololive is one word, and then you put TOWA after it. TOWA.
Tokoyami Towa.
Yeah. Now, this is the thing. So when she does her idol stuff, where she's like, oh, look at me, I'm talking, I'm playing video games, whatever she does, she's got this really, like, high-pitched, like, she's got that, like, streetwise look about her.
Mm-hmm.
But then she's the only one in the group who can sing. Like, out of all of the Hololivers, I'd say she has the best singing voice. And I looked them all up afterwards. Like, I did about a 2-hour crusade. And, her singing betrays, like, who this person is. Like, this person should be using, like, a big-breasted, geisha-ass idol. The fact that it's this weird, like, B-cup, rapper lolly chick doesn't make any sense, because this woman has the deepest voice I've ever heard a Japanese woman sing in.
To be fair, most Hololive, avatars are, some variation of a lolly.
Yeah, but, there's a couple of them that have, the big mother energy. Like, there's a sheep, there's a dragon. Like, they're supposed to kind of be, like, the Ara Hololivers. This person, like, the person behind Towa, should absolutely be an Ara Hololiver. Like, she should. And so it's so weird because, she did that song, that Lisa did that everybody, knows now, even though nobody knows who Lisa is. Garage, I think.
Yeah.
Like, her cover of that is better than the original version. And so it's not even that I'm, simping for it. It's just holy crap, one of these actually has good talent and isn't just, screaming Wan while she plays Metal Slug. Not naming any names.
Simp.
Don't do this to me, Mike.
Simp.
My wife's already disappointed in me.
I'm actually surprised that, because when you said you were got into a Hololive person, I actually assumed you were going to regale us with one of the most recent Hololive people, which are
shark?
the English ones.
Oh no, screw that.
The shark is an English one, you dumbass.
Is she?
Yes.
See, I don't know anything. I just know I like this one because she can sing.
The shark one is basically the America's answer to
Corona,
as far as I can see.
Yeah.
They're really weird. I know that the British one that's themed after Sherlock Holmes. I think she's supposed to be British, but she does not have a British accent. She has really great taste in anime. Shout out to whatever your name is.
Yeah, I'm looking for her right now. I'm talking VTuber Sherlock.
It's no, her last name is Holmes, I think. It's something Holmes.
Let's see here. Hololive Holmes. Let me see. I'm looking it up on Bing.
Hololive Holmes. Hey.
Google won't teach me how to kill myself. So I use Bing.
Of course you use Bing.
Of course I use Bing. I use Microsoft Edge. You want to fight me on it?
Microsoft Edge. You know what? I can't mock you because that is what I used until they updated it recently, and I lost all my bookmarks.
How did you lose all your bookmarks? The secret is not to have bookmarks.
I need to have all of my resources for producing this wonderful podcast that you're listening to at my fingertips at all times.
That's fair. By the way, because we've been doing this episode's gone on for almost an hour now, and if we don't talk about the thing you made me do yesterday that I'm actually mad at you about, I'm gonna lose my damn mind.
All right, everybody. So today we watched the Rurouni Kenshin OVAs, Trust and Betrayal. And before we talk about it, Kev, do you want to give people a rundown for Rurouni Kenshin for people that, if they did watch this, maybe they aren't familiar with actual Rurouni Kenshin?
Sure, but actually I wanted to ask Moth first, how familiar are you with Kenshin?
I know my friend who ended up becoming a child groomer and likes the Night Elves in Warcraft 3 really loved Rurouni Kenshin, so I've always hated it.
Oh. Okay.
Kev is learning the disappointment that fuels my life.
Alright, well,
He's completely winded now. He doesn't know where to go. This is what it's like. This is why the early episodes are so rough. It's because, like, every single time, I'm like, okay, I'm taking what you're giving me, and I don't know what to do with it.
No, it's. Here's the thing. Kenshin has not aged well. I've actually watching this show.
Disagree.
Watching this show. No. And I can tell you watching this, because this is what came out, like, 1998, 1999, this OVA came out.
I mean, to be fair, the writer probably thinks it hasn't aged well. Hey!
Wait, isn't the writer the same guy who did Hunter x Hunter?
No.
Who did Hunter x Hunter?
Togashi?
Did he do Yu Yu Hakusho as well?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was. I always get Kenshin and Yu Yu Hakusho mixed up.
Oh.
Okay.
But here's the thing. If somebody was like, hey, Moth, can you give me the most Japanese anime of all time? Like, the pivotal Japanese anime that is just 100% Japanese. If I liked them, I would tell them Gintama. If I hated them, I would say Kenshin.
What? Okay. You're right on, like, one level, but, like, Kenshin is great because it's, like, really well thought out historical fiction.
Yes,
it's really good.
But you know what? We have better historical fiction now, like Golden Kamui, which comes out in 2 weeks.
So anyway, Kev, let's give the audience a rundown on Rurouni Kenshin before my mind boils.
Alright, so, Rurouni Kenshin, it tells a story of, like, I guess 11 or 12 years into the new era of Japan. The
Yellow Turban Rebellion.
Excuse me?
The Yellow Turban Rebellion.
Don't if you hear him talking at this point, just assume it's nonsense. It's white noise. Just keep going.
Yeah, Kevin, go ahead. I'll stop interrupting you. Go ahead.
All right, man. No, it's just it was the end of the previous era, which lasted for 300 years, the Tokugawa shogunate, and so that Civil War era is known as, specifically the end of it that ended the 300-year regime is called the Bakumatsu. And so Kenshin was actually one of the, he actually fought in the Bakumatsu, or the Civil War, as an assassin, so he became famously known as the Hitokiri Batosai, or Batosai the Manslayer, once he actually came out of the shadows. And so what we watched here, Trust and Betrayal, is during the Bakumatsu, during the end of the Civil War. It's telling the story of how he got his cross-shaped scar and how he came out of the shadows. And by the time that Rurouni Kenshin, the manga or the anime, takes place, this is like 12 years after the end of the war, and we have this new era called the Meiji era under the new emperor, who I think he was like 14 at the time. And so I've been doing this video series reviewing every single chapter of the manga, kind of like showcasing the, I guess, what Watsuki was kind of trying to set out to do at the time, and kind of show this era of Japan that is heavily flawed, despite it being proposed as the end of suffering, with, you know, a 300-year regime trying to open up the country to like new ideas with like westernization, and then also removing like old ideas, like such as removing the samurai class, and so Rurouni Kenshin essentially is just kind of like the struggle of this new era trying to, I guess, find its footing, and like the people that are mostly suffering in it, as Kenshin is trying to protect everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty like fair like analysis. Summary of Kenshin, because it's all about like Kenshin, like even like he's described as a patriot. Like he's very loyal to the current era, and it's like his like personal struggle trying to maintain the current era while also trying to deal with all the baggage of the previous era.
And don't forget, he just wanted a trad life with a trad wife.
I mean, yeah, based Kenshin. So this 4-part OVA series.
Can I talk? Because the first episode, I think, is what offended me the most and poisoned me about the rest of it. It made me so angry.
I think the first episode of this, but okay. So anyway, this 4-part OVA is just a really good retelling. It has a different tone than Rurouni Kenshin starts as, but it has a similar tone to some of the more serious. Because I am pretty knowledgeable of Kenshin. I've watched the anime up until like the bandage guy, so like I've seen a lot of Kenshin.
Right.
Really, that's where you stopped?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's as far as I got.
Wait, did you stop like as the bandit, or as he was coming into the story?
Yes.
Dude, that's the best part of the anime.
I missed my chance. What can I say? Like, Toonami stopped airing it, I think, for a while.
I hear you.
But yeah, the more serious parts of Kenshin have a similar tone to this 4-part OVA, but the 4-part OVA is way more serious than the most of Kenshin. Kenshin is very much a comedy.
It's very lighthearted. It even with its serious tones, it usually has like time to throw in some comic relief. And so going from the anime and watching this, it's like very jarring.
So Moth, please tell me what weird autistic thing bothered you about the first episode of this.
Okay, now I will be 100% fair. I watched this in English.
Oh.
Now that voice acting...
I tried to watch this in English. I did. And
so you know what I suffered through.
I switched, and there was an exact moment where I was like, oh, I can't listen to this anymore. Maybe it's the exact same moment, so please.
No, I'm watching this, and this is what I got from it. This was the greatest exchange I think I've ever seen between two characters.
I have a feeling it's the exact moment I switched to the sub.
Well, so Kenshin, he's an orphan, and he gets picked up by another guy, a sword master, and the sword master teaches Kenshin exclusively how to use a sword. That's all Kenshin learns from this guy is how to use a sword. Like, I'm a great swordsman. I'm going to learn how to use.
He also learns like the philosophy of the what's the style called?
He doesn't though. Like I never got that. He only learned how to use the sword, and he learned how to be a really good assassin. And so a bunch of people show up and they put a bunch of grand ideas in his head, like, "Hey, don't you want to make a difference? Don't you want to keep people from dying?" And so he approaches his master and he's like, "Hey, you've trained me how to use the sword. I'm going to go use the sword to protect people." And his master goes, "No, I didn't teach you how to use the sword so you could kill people." And he's like, and at this moment, my brain kind of just shattered. And I was like, you have spent this kid's entire life teaching him how to kill people. And now you're telling him that killing people bad.
Kev, see what I say whenever I say that he's actually like this? He's actually like this.
Like, all he learned how to do was kill people. And so his master's like, "No, you shouldn't just kill people. I didn't teach you how to use the sword so you could kill people." I'm sitting here, I'm like, if I was a carpenter and my father told me to be a carpenter for years, and then I go up to him one day and I'm like, "Hey Dad, I'm gonna go be a carpenter." And my dad's like, "I didn't teach you how to use a hammer just so you could make chairs the rest of your life." I would be very confused.
I love that. Here's the deal, Moth. I did not stop watching in English until way later in the first episode. So I watched the exact same thing you did in English, and I understood. What his master is saying is, hey, this is not like the swordsmanship style. It's not like something that like makes you a man above. It's literally you are not immune to propaganda. Like people are going to try and use you. The sides that exist are don't matter. And he's like, yeah, but I want to go pick sides now. And he's like, dog, what are you talking about? And he's like, I can't stop you, so do you, I guess. Like That's what that conversation was about. It wasn't about, like, don't use your swordsmanship against people, because it's literally a sword style designed to fight multiple people at once.
I didn't get that at all. I just got that he spent his whole life using a sword, and that his master told him not to use his sword.
Yeah, it was mostly what Mike said. It was just like don't use this stored style that I taught you to be a pawn in somebody's ideology.
Oh, and my favorite rationale, like, and maybe this was just the English dub, but he literally is like, thousands of people will die for you to save hundreds. And Kenshin's snapback is just, well, those 100 people will live a peaceful life.
Okay, man, don't call me out for... Don't call me out for, like, supporting Biden, okay? Don't call me out like that.
But it was so bad. And then the plot is like, I was actually getting Last Samurai flashbacks the entire time I was watching it, because like the entire plot is so painfully Japanese, it's not even funny. And I get it. I understand. Mike, I get it. But like,
the story that takes place in the feudal era of Japan is super Japanese, bro.
It was so Japanese to the point where the fourth act in a Japanese drama, somebody important dies. That's how Japanese it was.
I mean, yeah, the thing with Rurouni Kenshin and the Soviet is that this shit is, like, really old. Like,
yeah, no kidding.
It predates most of the popular anime. Like, it
was like 1999?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, but this is actually a straight adaptation of actually a whole section of the manga that was never animated. So
it's even older than that.
Right, but it's what I'm saying is, like, if you look at I'm trying to think of like good animes from like the 80s and 90s. If you look at Jinro, the Murder Squadron, or you look at Akira, those have aged phenomenally. Like, Akira's still good, Jinro's still mostly good, Agent Aka still great, but then like this is just so painfully bad. Like, I would rather honestly just watch Golden Kamui. I get a better sense of Japanese culture
so far,
from Golden Kamui.
The only thing that you've described it being bad for is something you literally just didn't pay attention to.
Right, but like the story is so boring and the characters are so one-dimensional that it hurts my soul.
What?
Like, okay. I'm just gonna tell the whole plot here. So the anime starts with Kenshin killing some chick's fiance. And then an organization approaches her and goes, hey, don't you want to get revenge for your dead fiance? We need you to honeypot this dude. And so she agrees, and so she honeypots Kenshin, and then their rebellion fails. Kenshin's rebellion fails, and they go, we should probably go regroup. So Kenshin, you're our best assassin. We've set up a nice little house for you. The house is a trap, but you don't know that. We've set up this nice little house for you. You and your honeypot wife are going to go pretend to be husband and wife, and we'll come get you when you need you. And so they spend like a year basically not letting him fight, where he's just cutting logs and he's doing Kenshin stuff. And in that year, this woman has totally forgotten that she hates this guy who killed her fiance and is like, maybe I want to be Kenshin's wife. And then they agree that they're like, yay, we're happy together. And then her brother comes and is like, hey, remember that plot we didn't mention about at all until this point? And this is where you learn about the plot. Yeah, we're gonna spring that trap now. And she's like, no, don't spring the trap. He's like, no, we're gonna spring the trap. She's like, no. And then we go to the next episode. In the next episode, this trap gets sprung. Kenshin has a bunch of assassins sent after him. And, he kills them all. And then one of the last assassins at the end is like, well, if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna take your wife with me. And stabs her in the face.
See, Kev, I oftentimes describe that Moth, like, has the ability to grasp things, but he never holds them very well. Like, all the puzzle pieces are there, and he's kind of got them put in the right places, but he's like, there's like 5 or 6 pieces that he doesn't know what to do with. Holy...
I think I gave Kevin a stroke.
Yeah, no, like, it was holy shit.
Kevin is collecting himself in the corner.
I just don't know what to say.
No, you understand. Like, he was like, man, I just don't believe Moth is really like this. It must be a character, and we're sitting here and we're experiencing it. Like, okay, here's number 1. Tomoe, the girl.
Oh, speaking of which, in the English dub, nobody called her Tomoe. If not for the fact that I really, really like Chie from Persona 4, I wouldn't have even caught it. But her name is Tomoe. In the English dub, they call her Tomo.
So the moment I stopped watching have you watched the dub of this, Kev?
I mean, I watched it the first time I watched it, but I haven't watched it since. Like,
the dub doesn't use the same actors as the anime.
No, it doesn't.
Imagine
That's the reason I didn't.
Yeah. Like, I was like, when I was watching it, I was like, because it's been a while since I watched because I love the Kenshin dub. The Kenshin dub's, like, really good.
Yeah, it is.
When I was watching, I was like, I guess I just don't remember Kenshin as well as I do. And, but I was I kept watching it, and then it got to the really good scene, where, she springs her trap on it, but you don't learn that she's undercover until the last episode.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, but, okay, when you were going over your little thing, you said it like it was something that was known in the beginning. But anyway, whenever the trap is sprung, he kills a dude in front of her. Like, and she has that monologue that's like, God, what is the thing she says? She says,
that he makes the
you make the rain.
Rain fall like blood.
Yeah.
And then what's great?
In Japanese, in English, she's like, the rain is bloody.
Can we talk about the metaphor that I almost didn't notice because of how bad the English dub is? There's a metaphor. No, there's a metaphor where she says that, like, you make the rain fall like blood, and then the lead owner of the inn who is keeping her and keeping her safe for the first 2 or 3 episodes, she literally says, this flower, which Tomoe you remind me of, is most beautiful in the rain. And, like, I literally didn't realize it until just now that those 2 sentences go together. You make the rain look like blood, and Tomoe is most beautiful in a rain of blood. Here's my wires crossing.
Yeah, like the dub fucking sucks, dude. It's really
honestly,
bad.
If not for the dub, I probably couldn't have even handled it.
Like, when Tomoe starts speaking, it wasn't what she said because it's the first time you hear her really talk. Mm-hmm. It wasn't what she said, it was her act, like, the way it was so dry and monotone. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I need to figure out what this sounds like in Japanese. Oh, cool, it sounds like she's an actual person delivering lines. I'm gonna stick with this now.
Oh, dude, that's the moment that you switched over?
The dub is phenomenal, though. I don't care what anybody says.
This podcast just...
It broke your brain a couple minutes ago, man.
It did, but it's great. Like, the dub is so bad because the lines are delivered so dead tone the entire time. Nobody has any emotions during the dub. Yeah. It's like, I did not teach you to be a swordsman so you could kill. I'm gonna kill!
Hey, Mike, have you seen Kenshin with the Sony dub?
Is that like a newer dub?
No, it's like, I guess the property of the anime's owned by Sony apparently, and so they did their own dub, and it is so much worse than anything out. I mean, it's bad, dude. It's really, really bad.
I really want to look this up now because the original Rurouni Kenshin dub is like genuinely one of the best dubs.
It's really good, and so when you put on the Sony dub, it's just like everything that it's not. Do you have Hulu? Because it's on Hulu.
I do not, but I have access to less than legal lending links that I can find it on.
Yeah. But yes, Kenshin gets a really rough treatment when it comes to its English localization. They did okay. I mean, they did good with the dub, but it's the it's everything else that it's attached to in English. It's pretty rough.
Honestly, yeah. I don't like Kenshin, and I think I said why I don't like Kenshin. But when I went to Idaho, you know those, like when I was in Idaho, you know those. You know, like all those pictures that were circulating the internet mid 2000s to early 2010s where like white trash kids were obviously like posing with freaking pawn shop ninja weapons and stuff. Mm-hmm. I am certain that 90% of those pictures were taken in Boise and Meridian, Idaho. Like the other 10% were in Kuna. And so you got this group of just white trash pawn shop ninja South Park kids, and they all loved Rurouni Kenshin. And so I will never, ever actually watch the real Rurouni Kenshin because of that.
So what he's saying is, I refuse. I honestly, in my heart of hearts, was like, you know what? Maybe Moth doesn't like Rurouni Kenshin because the author is a pedophile. And you know what? That's a fair reason. And then he's just coming at me like, I don't like it because the people who liked it that I knew had nunchucks, and that's weird.
Well, nobody I know who likes Golden Kamui looks at bears like, that's a tight bear hole.
That's because we're in a different era. Like back then, those people had nunchucks because they thought they were cool ninja people. Like nowadays, whenever a kid gets into anime, they just get onto Twitter and post about how Uraka makes them feel weird in their pee-pee area.
Dude, I feel like I'm walking on air whenever I see Uraka.
God, that is... You are an awful human being. You are the worst. I curse you. The fact that you exist haunts my very being. I spit at you, sir. Please cease.
I was having fun that first hour.
This was such a loaded gun, by the way, Mike, because I didn't like Rurouni Kenshin before this, and I forced myself to watch it out of because here's the thing, Kevin, you didn't see this, but about 6 weeks ago, I was talking to Mike because I was having one of my panic attacks. I was like, Mike, is there anything I can do to help your brain with the podcast? I can tell that I bring you a lot of stress. And Mike, with tears in his eyes, are like, Moth, please, just watch the shows I ask you to watch. And he was begging me. And so I was like, okay, from now on, I'm going to watch everything you tell me to watch. And so we did that. We did that with Perfect Blue. We did that with One Piece. And now we've done it with this. And I did it. I did it, Mike. I watched this because I told you I would do this for you. And I hated it. And I hated every damn second of it. And now you're going to suffer with me.
But that's the thing about that, though, is this 4-part OVA series is actually fantastic.
It is horrible.
The
characters'
direction,
motivations make no sense.
What do you mean they make no sense? Ah!
My family is like a distant memory to me. And I'm probably not even a memory to them.
I mean, I can't defend the dub. I like I said, I switched whenever she started talking. She's the worst part of the dub.
Yeah, it's here's the thing though. I don't think I could justify it. It's like if I tried to go back and watch the original Harlock Saga or the original Galaxy Express. Galaxy Express, by the way, being my all-time favorite animated movie, probably. I can't justify it anymore if I go back and watch it. I'm like, yeah, this is just nostalgia and nothing else.
But that's the thing, though. This isn't.
That's kind of what I was. That's kind of what I was afraid of when I put it on too. I was like, oh, I'm probably not gonna like it as much as I did when I watched it the first time, and I finished it feeling pretty good about it. So yeah, I don't know, man.
so
for now, just for a bit, me and Kev, let's just talk about how it's good, and when we're done, Moth can have a little. He can have a little. His pipes can explode for a minute.
No, I'm done. I'm good. I said everything I needed to do.
So, Kev, isn't this OVA is so fucking gorgeous?
Yes, dude. Actually, I wanted to. I'm sorry. I was adjusting myself and I accidentally hit the mic.
You're fine, dude.
But actually, I had to go through a whole fucking adventure just to get the DVD because I own it, but I had it at my grandma's house and it's a whole thing. But I put it on and I was watching the opening scene, and it turns out that the actual Rurouni Kenshin feature-length movie, I guess, the one that you asked me about originally, and I told you that one wasn't very good, came on, and I was like, oh, no. But I really, really love the way the blood looks in this OVA.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It actually looks it actually looks different from water.
Yeah, and then they even have water looking is it real water? I was wondering.
I could see like where it could maybe be, because in episode 3 they had like the weird parts that are just live action footage, vaguely rotoscoped.
Yeah.
Which didn't look bad, but looked really out of place.
It did, but I didn't dislike it.
Oh yeah, no. I think in that moment it was more of an artistic choice than like a budget thing or anything. And that's fine. I actually think every episode of this OVA looks and like is directed differently, and I actually really like that about it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of this version of Kenshin?
So, for people that aren't like super familiar, we talked about it. Kenshin in like the manga, when you see him, he's this goofy fucking loser who occasionally does really badass stuff.
Well, the whole bait and switch thing in the first chapter is that he's very goofy. That he's accused of being Batosai the Manslayer because he was walking around town with a sword, and then he's like stumbling, he falls. Like in every panel, like he is the comic relief in that first chapter until some of the other characters start coming in, and so at the end of the chapter, it's revealed that he's actually Batosai the Manslayer, and like that's the general tone that Kenshin has all throughout the story. Like you said, he's very goofy. He's almost like a loser. So. And until you find out who he is.
So it's kind of like Trigun, except bad.
Actually, I would say the first...
like Trigun, but good.
No, but I like Trigun.
And I don't.
Oh man, I don't want to have this discussion because I love both.
I haven't seen Trigun.
So you should after you're done with the series you're doing on Rurouni Kenshin, you should go through Trigun, because there are a lot of parallels. The first episode of Trigun is almost exactly the first chapter of Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh, is it?
They're very, like, it's literally a big dude is pretending to be the bad guy with a bounty on their head. I mean, well, Rurouni Kenshin, the Batosai is not a bad guy with a bounty on his head, but you know what I mean. Yeah. And the whole thing is like, no one can really believe that this guy is actually the real one. It's very similar, in a very interesting ways. I wouldn't be surprised if Trigun took some notes from Rurouni Kenshin. But the differences, though, are really striking, because Kenshin in this OVA, he has not adopted any of, like, he's very much cold and almost unfeeling, because he kind of has to be for what he's doing. Like, he's a cold, hard assassin. Like,
but it's funny because in the manga, when this whole section is covered, it's like a whole little mini arc during the final part of the manga that was never adapted into anime. Even then, like, they were still finding like ways to make Kenshin a little bit like comedic. I mean, it's not as it is like how the rest of throughout the narrative he is. But like they still found ways to do it. So it was just like a whole tonal choice from the directors or the producers of this OVA. But yeah, you're right. He absolutely has to be this way. But it's I don't necessarily like it though, just because it doesn't show us who he could be or who he is after the war ends. You know how like there's like always like there's the saying like you can always just see a side of a person, even like in this OVA, there's a whole section where he has the chance to drop his guard down when he's living his married life, and she sees a different side of him, but we never actually get to see this side of him where he's goofy or where he's relaxed, where he's himself. I guess we kind of see it a little bit with the whole Seijiro section in the beginning. But even then,
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It feels like, I don't want to say a completely different character, because he is very much still like the core of what Kenshin is, like his like we're basically seeing that be developed in this OVA. But you do miss a lot of his character without the more like endearing, goofy moments.
Yeah.
I will say though, like that decision to take them out of this OVA, I think helps the OVA, because it feels like much more of its own thing.
Okay.
But also at the same time, like the story the OVA tells, like you've read the manga, so you know how it's handled in that. I have. I just recently started reading it.
Right.
I think that this style of story, this more serious look at the backstory of Kenshin, I don't know how I would feel about if they had like incorporated comedic bits into it. So
no, I was actually I agree there. Just because this is during a civil war and they're like, people are dying. He's been given a list of people to kill. So I could see it, if they did like hammer up the comedic bits to his personality, being, jarring because he's going around killing people. Yeah.
I think a good place to have put that in, though, is because, like, I'm not going to say this OVA is perfect. I think it actually has quite a few flaws. Yeah. I think what they should have done is whenever he's living alone with Tomoe, like, as he's opening... Tomoe, that's how it's pronounced.
You said Tomie.
As he's living alone with Tomoe, like... as he's like opening up to her, and his personality does change with her. Like that's what makes the last episode like so good. I think you could have used that to show the more like light side of his character.
Right. I feel like that's exactly where it should have been as well. And then I don't know, maybe having a little bit more interaction with Enishi, the younger brother, because I mean, like all because like this whole story, like the reason that it even exists in the first place, the whole reason that it exists in the first place is because this is at the point in the manga, it's when his and the kid Enishi, he comes back for revenge. So one of the things that I love about Kenshin is that the story, rather than getting bigger and more grandiose with each new arc, the way Dragon Ball does, is that they have like their whole grandiose moment with the stuff in Kyoto with Shishio, the bandage guy, and then instead of like saving Japan, he's going and saving himself from himself and this new life that he's cultivated from this demon from his past coming back for revenge.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait to like get there. Like the manga is so amazingly good. Like even from like the very early chapters.
Yeah. So he's telling this whole section right here. It's him telling the story to his new comrades or his new friends that he's made in this dojo that he's been at. And
I find that's pretty interesting context. I can imagine that, like, because if he's trying to like exercise his own demons, like you said in the story arc of the manga, I can imagine like the necessity of telling a story like this. Like, what demons does he even have? Like, I don't know how much it's really touched on in the manga to that point, but like the origin of the Batosai is so integral to the Rurouni Kenshin. Like, it's something that should be touched on.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's really disappointing that section never got animated because it's so good. Yeah. So even Tomoe and herself, she's so different from Kaoru. You've read a little bit of the manga.
Oh yeah, I'm super familiar with Kaoru. Doesn't Kenshin like at one point admit that he's drawn to her because she reminds him of her? I might be wrong because it's been a while since I watched the anime, but they are such different characters.
Yeah.
But I think it's really interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, go ahead.
I don't know if Kaoru and Kenshin ever become romantically involved. I don't remember that. Mm-hmm. But I find like there's a really interesting parallel between like Tomoe and her first love and Kenshin, and Kenshin's first love being Tomoe, and because I remember there being like some romantic tension between them. I feel like there's a parallel that's being drawn there that isn't expressed in the OVA, obviously.
The parallel between Tomoe and Kaoru.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Because Tomoe was Kenshin's first love,
right?
And I feel like Kaoru, and again, reading into this, haven't experienced Kenshin in a long time, but I remember at least she being really into Kenshin. I feel like there's a romantic parallel between the characters.
Yeah. Kenshin's very much doing the the typical shonen thing where he doesn't like openly recognize it, but he has like very subtle ways of showing it to her. Like when he goes to Kyoto, he only says goodbye to her.
Which,
and
to be fair, I'm okay with that in the Kenshin specifically because she's 17 and he's 37.
He's 27.
27?
27, I think.
Okay, if it's only 27, a little less weird, but still a little weird.
Yeah. It's they do end up together and then they have a son, but like that's all like in the
nice.
epilogue. Yeah. But as far as Kaoru goes with the I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
It's my fault for interrupting you, dude. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Fucking. I guess just to say on Kenshin though, it's like, him, since you mentioned that his age, it's I find it like very strange that you don't like Kenshin Moth, because it's like. It's a shonen story, but it's not told like most shonen stories are. Like he's not Naruto or fucking Deku or whoever you want to pick. Like he's already had his development by the time that the story starts, and his whole character arc is him dealing with the demons of his past.
Like, even in the show itself, everyone treats Kenshin like he is the chosen one, and he's like, "Nah, man, I was just a patriot. Leave me alone. I just want to grill."
He's like, I just want to atone for the lives that I have taken. Like, he's never leaned into it, and so right now, actually, you mentioned the romantic feelings of Kaoru. Right now, where I'm at in my video series, we are with the Megumi stuff, and she's like, she just sees Kenshin as somebody with a sword that can she can use to protect herself as she's running from these ninjas, and it's not until like Kaoru actually tells him like, "Hey, you should stay and watch this fight, because he's fighting on your behalf." And that's when she like realizes, oh, he's really 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 good. And like how you said that they treat him like the chosen one, like he's like some type of Superman. In Kyoto, there's a whole section where Megumi actually tells Kaoru, and kind of like to tell everybody as well, like, hey, no, he's not a Superman. He's very much human, and he can very much die like all of us. So don't rely on him so much.
That's I look forward to getting there.
Yeah,
because it sounds like the Kyoto arc is in and of itself is like an event.
Yeah, it is, and I mean it's like all like it all stems from here in Trust and Betrayal. I mean, you kind of see that here too, though, with his personality being so different from the way we know him in the manga and the anime. It's like he's hardened because it's like Seijiro said, the master.
Yeah.
He's like he's so pure that he's going to be tainted because like all he wants to do is save people, but he doesn't realize that ideology is much more complicated than trying to protect the people from dying. It's a it's a gray area.
Yeah, it's really like I enjoy I enjoy that like aspect of Kenshin because that's ultimately what Kenshin ends up being about. What happens when a pure person gets corrupted and then has to deal with that on their soul. And that's such an interesting like way to tell a story. Like Kenshin literally starts with all the epic shit being over.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem that interesting. It really doesn't.
You say that until you watch a man deflect a cannonball with a sword like it's nothing.
Here's the thing. I could see that in God of High School, but I haven't been invested in God of High School in 6 episodes. Like, meh.
Yeah. The thing also though about the anime is that the first section of the anime, it's just considered the Tokyo arc. It's so much more looser with its storytelling. So like it like has filler in it as well, and
it's
so
way more episodic.
Yeah, definitely. So I could see somebody not liking Kenshin just based off of those first few, that first whole section.
But to
like,
be clear, Moth's entire issue with Kenshin is that the weird kids liked Kenshin. It's not even that he couldn't get into it.
No, but you know what the weird kids also liked? They also liked Gravitation and Soul Eater and pretty much everything else that was hot garbage.
If you knew any kids watching Gravitation, that's a yaoi series. Like wait, never mind. That's right. You grew up like idolizing Fujoshis. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I had to remember that.
Yeah, there you go. No, it's pretty much anything that came out on Toonami after a certain point didn't do anything for me. Outlaw Star was the last good thing that came out on Toonami when I was a kid.
Okay.
Well,
and like I said, the cringe babies liked Kenshin. The cringe babies had liked a lot of things. I had to force myself to watch Naruto because the cringe babies liked it. And I'm mad at myself that I didn't watch Naruto. But after watching these 4 OVAs, I have zero desire to ever watch Kenshin.
That's actually, I mean, that is kind of interesting because I was actually going to come into this and saying, hey, if you don't know anything about Kenshin and you want like a taste of it,
don't watch these OVAs.
I didn't,
because everything you guys have
after this conversation, I agree with that now because I had completely forgotten how different this Kenshin is from the actual Kenshin of the manga. Mm-hmm. It is a good taste. Like if you get into the manga and you reach a point where like, man, I want to know more about his backstory, and you don't want to wait for that, like those chapters, maybe watch this. But like the manga and anime are actually like a really way better like point of entry into what
Mike,
Kenshin
I've given up. I've given up. You're gonna have to cut a ton of audio here. Do you hear it? Do you hear the audio you now have to cut?
Is that at your end, Mike?
Yeah, no, that's my dogs. They just decided that now's a good time to have a pissing match. 1 sec, I'll be right back. Oh, gosh. This is why you're not allowed in the room. This is why we kick you out. Go.
I like a man.
I'm not even gonna bother we're wrapping it up. I'm not even gonna bother cutting this out.
Okay, good. All right. Well, that's been the We Hate Anime podcast. Hopefully you don't watch Kenshin, and instead you decide to watch Golden Kamui, a much better anime.
You can find links to everything we've talked about. I mean, well, I guess not everything. I'm not going to link a fucking a torrent to Kenshin in the doobly-doo, but you can find links to us, everyone on the podcast, our Discord server, and the email you can send questions to in the link to the bottom. Kev, why don't you do some pluggaroonies?
Pluggaroonies.
Well, I don't really care if you guys follow me on my social medias. But I would appreciate you guys checking out the channel. It's Itsumo, like the Japanese word Itsumo.
Itsumo.
ItsuMO. I have a video series called The Wandering Samurai Study, where we are reviewing every single act of Rurouni Kenshin and just talking about the series as we're going, and how the chapters feed into one another going through the narrative. But also, apart from that, I have a few other Kenshin videos on my channel that I did just randomly, and I have a whole playlist for those as well. My whole thing when I wanted to start YouTube was that I wanted it to be a Rurouni Kenshin channel, and then the news of Watsuki broke, and that like deflated me completely.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm just not even trying to think about the work itself in relation to the man, just as the art for what the art is. And,
outside of Kenshin being like a good 10 years older than the girl in the beginning, what's Kaoru?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but outside of that, there's no, if there is pedophilia in Kenshin, it's probably a bad guy.
There isn't.
Yeah. So, like, this is one of those things where separating the author from the art is pretty easy. It's really just a really good historical fiction story.
Yeah.
But, thank you everyone for joining the podcast today. It's a long one. We haven't had a long one for a while. This was a really fantastic episode.
Yeah, I had fun.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have you on again sometime, Kev.
Yeah, cool. I don't mind, as long as you're not making me watch Kenshin.
No worries, man. I didn't even want to watch Kenshin. I didn't even want to talk about Kenshin when I first came to Mike about
Mike,
coming on.
I'm going to destroy you.
Well, I wanted to do something that ties into his channel, and he's doing a Kenshin series. It's perfect.
Beat you with a pipe wrench.
I do appreciate it. Thank you, Mike.
Hey, it's no problem, man. You're always welcome on. Maybe next time you'll be doing a Trigun series, and we can watch Badlands Rumble, and that'll be really fun.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
But thanks everybody for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful day, and God bless.